Police Minister Bheki Cele has announced that government has paid 176 million rand, that is, to date, to compensate the families of those killed in the Marikana massacre. 34 miners were gunned down at the hands of police in 2012 during a wildcat strike at the Lonman mine in the northwest. The minister also released a report by a panel of experts tasked with looking into policing and crowd management as the recommendations made by the Farlam Commission. Now, that commission was established to probe the killings. While the minister joins us now. Good evening, and thank you so much for your time tonight, Minister Cele. Firstly, let's talk about this money that has been paid out to the families as part of the compensation on the part of the state, 176 million rand. How much more do you still need to pay out before you can say that you have settled this particular bill?
Well, thanks. Good evening, Kate. Everybody. Money paid is 176,905,733 to be exact, Kathy. That is the money paid. The payment is categorized. Like this money is a loss.
Minister, sorry to interrupt there. We didn't get that audio correctly as you were giving the first part of your answer. If you can just repeat it for me, please.
Well, the money paid up to this point, Kathy, is 176,503,733 rand to be exact. The money is categorized on several categories. Is a loss of income to the families, that is that. The unlawful arrest of the people that were arrested, that is that. The injuries, and the money that mostly has been paid is the money for the loss of injuries. There is 18 million that is outstanding that they are still assessing if that money is supposed to be paid. So it will be that 18 million, and then we would have covered most ground on that, but there will be further of those people that they believe that it's not enough what they paid for, and then we'll be dealing with their lawyers.
So effectively, from the part of the state, because all of these things have to be budgeted for, how much money is your department setting aside in order to accommodate these outstanding payments?
Well, as I'm saying, 176 million is paid, which means that money has been put aside, is already paid to that one, Kathy. 18 million is there waiting for a proper settlement between the lawyers, and then we believe that it will be quite a small amount of those people that are complaining. The other money was 2 million for the reconstruction of the crime scene there, which we didn't get as from the treasurer, but that the prosecuting authority have said doesn't look to be crucial to get that money, because those cases can go on without the reconstruction.
And one of the things that has been brought up even in this panel recommendations that you have been launching today has been the issue of justice and getting justice for the families, and part of it includes holding police officers who were present on that day accountable. As you have that particular conversation, we also saw the acquittal of officers today in the Northwest who have been charged with who are facing several charges related to some of the events that unfolded in Marikana. Do you think that that inspires confidence, especially for the families that are looking at this situation?
Well, Kathy, as you know, that the justice system is a chain. Police arrested 9 people, including General Mpembe. That is IP'd more than anything, and they were taken to all processes, charged, and they've been acquitted by the court. Indeed, surely the families and the friends would have expected other outcomes on that, but it has gone through a vigorous process of court, and the judge in the court of law has found them not guilty.
Of course, you know, at the end of the day, we have a situation where 34 individuals died at the hands of the police at this point. And, you know, a lot of those details may come under contestation. But at this right now, following today's case, we don't have anybody who is being charged. We don't have people that are being dismissed for the behavior of the police that day.
Well, as I've said, that 9 police are charged, 4 have been acquitted today. They have not been there in the system all the time since they were charged a few years ago, Kathy. And for that reason, the police have done their job, and the next segment of the law will be the courts. And if it's found by the court that they are innocent, nothing more police can do on that. One other thing I want to correct, Kathy, because the cabinet was very adamant to say 34 people died, but those are not only people that died. 10 people died before that, and the cabinet has instructed us to look at that matter of those 10 people that died before that day of the 16th August.
This report that you have released today, when was it concluded?
When was
it concluded?
Well, it was presented in 2018 by the judge, Judge Njanga. May his soul rest in peace, Kathy. But after that, there were other processes to be done, like a ministerial advisory committee of the implementation, which took other processes forward. That was chaired by Reverend Mohale. And unfortunately, that process was stalled, and we had to go back to the members of the panel of experts to come and show us how we can work on the implementation. That was the time, and then it had to be taken back to the cabinet, taken back to the panel of experts. There were still some processes, but let me hastily say, many of the recommendations, Kathy, of that report are already implemented.
We're not seeing it, though, at least in the lived reality of the experience that South Africans have with police, because that is where the action would translate the most. We still have police officers killing South Africans as part of their deployment of measures to control public policing. So if they've been if they're being implemented, why is there such little change?
Little change, I don't believe. Let's say, Kathy, on that black day when Ntumba was killed, on that day in South Africa, there were 25 protests, 25. But we only know of this one, of that, where this young man was killed, which means others were handled properly, which means others we don't know about them because were properly handled. In the financial year 2019-2020, 10,000 of protests were peaceful. 4,000 of them were violent. So, but you don't hear more about them because police, they do implement. There would be times like that one of vets where things get out of hand. But most of the average protest in South Africa every day, 30, is between 25 and 30. And you don't hear about them every day because they are properly handled.
When you look at some of the work that is being done by different organizations, such as your Corruption Watch, who take complaints from ordinary members of society who are blowing the whistle on corruption in different sectors, the police service, unfortunately, is consistently named as a sector where South Africans are feeling the most let down, and where we're seeing an increasing number of corrupt behavior and corrupt cases that actually take place within the police service. So it points to the amount of reform that still needs to take place.
No doubt that will be needed. Unfortunately, the police are at the front line, are at the cold face. You start with them. But at the same time, Kathy, there is a lot of good work and a lot of good police that are doing the work. For instance, when you go to prisons of South Africa, called correctional centers, they are 25% overpopulated, which means police, they arrest them, they send them to the system, and they go there. When you go to the things like sexual assault, rape, and all, we have 5,560 lifers, people that are doing life, which means somebody has arrested somebody, went for a good investigation for the judge or the magistrate to give life sentence. Yes, We do have rotten apples, that we have structures to deal with. The main one would be IPAD, the human rights, the ACU, which is anti-corruption unit, and many, as you say, corruption watch, highly washed police. But it's unfortunate that where they do well, everybody passes without saying a word, as if nothing good is coming out of the police.
Of course, the difficulty is that where they don't do well, it has the ability to completely affect people's lives and, in some instances, claim lives.
It is exactly on that score, then, that the government has created the structures to respond on that. IPT has sent too many police in prison, but police themselves arrest their own is not as if, as somebody said about a week ago, that nothing has changed. These structures that are there, Kathy, were never there when people were really abused, killed, and all that. At least now, there are consequences. Yes, we would love to find police not injuring anybody, not killing anybody. But when that happens, there must be a consequence, and those structures are on the ground.
Minister, I just want to talk about the crime intelligence matter. We're quickly running out of time. The last time you spoke with my colleague, Kolim Gambi, he asked you about the management of the crime intelligence unit. And I'm wondering if you have any clarity this time and whether there's been stability when it comes to this feud that is taking place at seemingly a management level within the SAPS.
Well, it would be half balance. It would be half stability, because the head at the present moment there is acting, which happens to be General Matagata, who used to be the Provincial Commissioner of Western Cape, has been brought there. Fortunately, is very much advanced on understanding. He worked 11 years on the crime intelligence, but he's acting, Kathy, which tells you then that the complete stability is not there. And I know that the issue of the head, General Jacobs, who has been shifted to the other unit, that is Inspectorate, his matter is going on. If you ask me if there is a complete stability, I would say no, because where people act, stability is not complete.
Can you afford to have such a highly factionalized police service?
Well, factionalized, I'm not sure whether they're factionalized or the commissioner is doing his work. I would have loved to say at that level there is no chasing, there is no charging, everybody is doing his or her work. But at the present moment, some of these things, if things and allegations are made, those investigations will have to be made. Agreeing with you, a straight, stable, everybody's in the workplace and doing his or her job would be the better option.
Your relationship with General Sithole now, where does that stand?
Well, I've been answering this question. General Sithole, we have working relationship. We definitely don't drink in the same shebeen, same tavern. We pick up the phone, there is this, we work on that. Even today, we're together launching this report. Even yesterday, we were together meeting the president. So the relationship it's a work relationship that does not need to be beyond that for us to work.
Is his future in question right now?
Well, the future of any national commissioner is asked from the president, not from the minister.
And what is the line that you're taking with the president right now when it comes to the police commissioner?
Well, he will give his reports, I'll give my reports, and those reports I give to the president, they remain between me and the president, and I can't discuss them in public.
We're going to leave it there. The police minister, Bheki Cele.